Greetings all, this is Dickie Adams with Pocketnow.com, and today we're going to take a closer look at the hardware on the LG Spectrum from Verizon. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. So the LG Spectrum has a 4.5-inch IPS HD display. It's running at a 720 by 1280 resolution, which you can see here looks really fantastic and looks very, very solid color-wise, screen-wise, and we'll cover one of the small caveats about the screen in just a minute, but just from the first glance it looks really, really good. Down here at the bottom we've got the 3 capacitive buttons. We've got a menu button, which also serves as a search button. If you tap and hold on it, you've got the home button, and then you've got your back button, which is everything you would expect. Up at the top we've got a 1.3 megapixel front-facing camera and a couple of the other sensors. Noticeably missing up here is a notification light. There's no sort of notification system on here, which has been a item that I've been sorely missing, especially for text messages or emails. I'm used to having some sort of blinking indication. Now there are other ways to make your screen act as the notification, but again, right out of the box, this has no notification capabilities. So that's a little disappointing, but what you can say. Outside edge here is a beveled and kind of a chrome effect. I haven't actually dropped this yet to find out if it's chrome all the way through, if it gets scratched, if it's going to show plastic underneath. It is a really plasticky device altogether. It's got a large bezel around the outside, which compared to, say, the Samsung here, the bezel is much, much thinner in comparison. We'll come back to the comparisons in just a minute. Looking at the top of the device here, we have the headphone jack and the microphone and the pane in the keister USB door here that gets in the way of the power button if you have it plugged in, and also doesn't fit very well. The fit here is a little funny, so when you're reaching up for the power button, you have a tendency to slide my finger over this section to try to find out where the power button really sits, because it's really very, very small here up in this upper corner up here. Moving to the bottom of the device, we've got just a finger spot for, stick your finger in there and pop the back door off. On this side here we have our volume indicator, a volume rocker. It strangely sits right in the middle of, or practically in the middle of the device rather than at the upper limits here. So expecting to be able to hold the device in one hand normally and then being able to grab the volume rocker here won't happen. You have to kind of bring your hand further down or push the device up further in your hand in order to get that to work. Back of the phone has the 8 megapixel with a flash there on the back, and then we've got kind of a plastic cover, which you can see here, which has that kind of a carbon fiber look, although it doesn't have a carbon fiber texture. It's very slick on the back here and picks up fingerprints and makes it extremely difficult to hold on to. You really have to get a good grip on the sides in order for this to stay stable. Down at the bottom here we've got a speaker hole, and really the speaker quality for both the back speaker, the rear speaker, and the front speaker are kind of terrible. I shouldn't say kind of terrible, they are terrible. It's really hard to listen to for an extended period of time. If I use Bluetooth, the sound volume quality is fine, and the rear speaker and the front speaker both have an amazing amount of volume that they can put out, but the sound quality is really tinny and terrible altogether. So that's a bit of a disappointment there for the amount of volume that it pumps out. Let's go ahead and pop the back of the device off here. Again, as we mentioned in the unboxing, we have an 1830 milliamp hour battery. We've got the pre-installed 16 gig microSD card. It also has some internal RAM, or rather flash for storage. I believe it has 4 gigs of internal flash for purposes of the device. Plus then everything else is stored on the microSD card. It's got a gig of RAM in here as well, and the microSD card is expandable up to 32 gigs. You've got your Verizon LTE SIM chip, and it is a global capable device as far as the data is concerned. Underneath this battery is nothing more than the information like the MSID, etc. This black back cover here is it's a little creaky and clacky, and you can kind of see the fingerprints appearing there, but it snaps on nice and tight, and there doesn't seem to be a whole lot of creaking or cracking. It's very lightweight in the hand. It's just feels really plasticky because of the back. There's just nothing there to hold on to, so even setting it down you can kind of hear how plastic it sounds. The other thing that I found is that with this lifted camera placement right here, when it's laying flat like this, and you may have noticed on the software view, it has a tendency to wobble back and forth. Compared to other devices on the market, like the Samsung Galaxy S2 from Sprint, really no noticeable thickness difference here. The screen resolution is higher on this device than it is on the Samsung, and it's a little taller as far as devices are concerned. Compared to, say, the AT&T HTC Vivid, again, there's the HTC Vivid is just a tiny bit thicker. It's noticeably heavier than the LG Spectrum, and size-wise, again, the LG Spectrum is just a tiny bit longer here at the top. The camera does a decent job of both video and photos, but not anything that's really spectacular, especially compared to what we were seeing coming right out of the HTC Vivid from AT&T in our last review. That said, in low light situations there is some loss of detail, and it doesn't hold on to focus very well. In fact, it doesn't have a it doesn't seem to focus on with using the flash if it's in a darkly lit situation or it's having troubles getting the focus set up. Normally a phone will this style, or a camera of this style, will use the flash to help figure out where the focus point is, and it doesn't do that. Even if the flash is forced on, it doesn't help use a flash focus or a flash assisted focus for photos. I found that overall the quality is again pretty decent, but if you start looking here, it doesn't have any anti-shake capabilities at all. And then the other thing that I've noticed, that while I really like the high resolution display, when you really start looking at some of the reference images that I've got for color checking, you can see right here on this JPEG image, this cloud is not supposed to look that way. It's not supposed to have those kind of clear light blue on the outside and then a really dark, obvious difference in the interior. And I can show you the difference here on the Galaxy S2, and you can see while that darkness is there, it's not as pronounced and obvious as it is over here. And really, color-wise, the color differences, there's a little more contrast on the Samsung, which is not unexpected, and the color differentiation, the Samsung does suffer from a little bit of a blue tint, whereas this device does seem to have a little more of a yellow tinting, as you can see kind of here in this this green area here. It's a little more yellow than the greens that I've got here on the Samsung device. You can get the normal 3G speeds, which are expected here, but more importantly, I want to point out some of the 4G speeds that I was getting up in the Portland metro area. We got 24,333 here down, and 12,778 up, and then down here at the bottom, it's like a 1351. 13514 down and 5711 up. So really excellent data speeds up and down. Not quite as good as AT&T's service as far as LTE is concerned, but AT&T service is not as widespread as Verizon's is as well. So really excellent data speeds here. If only it made the device faster overall. It unfortunately does not. That wraps up a closer look at the hardware on the LG Spectrum from Verizon. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them below. If you'd like to see something covered in the full review, please leave us a message below as well. Give us a thumbs up if you liked this video, and thanks for watching.